welcome to the demo drop. This has been a flipping nightmare. I'm hating streaming today, but I know that I'm going to get really cheered up by our banter, James.
Hello.
Oh, right. First time. Bitwise Maths is here. Go on, Jay. Do you know what? I big you up on Vision Radio for drinking paraffin. If you listen to Vision Radio today, Mr. Bitwise Maths. So there we go. First time I've had to watch ads to see my mate. Well, you're going to have to get used to that in the future. Right. It is the demo drop. It is the demo drop. We are, as always, running like seriously late, waxy. But we are here. We're here to listen to loads of great new music. And I'm joined by James from Sola. How are you doing, James?
Hello. I'm good. Thanks, Dave.
Good. We're going to listen to some, yeah. And you're going to provide the technical expertise. I really like this. I enjoyed this with Tia as well, because he went in on the details. And I know you're going to do the same as well. So you're actually controlling the music, aren't you? So I've sent you over the spreadsheet.
Hopefully everyone can see me properly and everyone can hear my screen.
And thank you everybody for your patience. So who have we got here then? Right, I will put the. So here we go.
So hopefully everyone can hear what's going on.
I could, and now I can't anymore.
Oh, it's because I've paused it.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Okay. So
that means everything's working as it should. You could hear it when it was playing, and you couldn't when I'd stopped it. So
okay. It's a little bit laggy when I'm doing stuff. Right. Okay. So are we going through the order that I gave them to you on?
Yes, we're going to do it in order because they're not all named properly. For example, this one is called One Audio 001, and then the date, and then some random numbers. So I would completely not be able to keep track of who the artist and the track name was unless I was also running it off here. So one thing I would say to everyone who sends demos is please make sure that you have your artist name and your track name in every demo that you send.
Yes, definitely. It's so easy. Like we've had that actually with Vision Radio, where we've had a WAV, and we didn't. None of us knew where it's from, and obviously it was sent from somebody way before it come out, so you couldn't Shazam it or anything like that. And I don't think we ended up playing it in the end. It kept on getting bumped out of the episodes. It's like, oh, we'll work out who sent it. It was a decent enough track, and we had no idea who sent it. So right, this is the first track now that we're going to listen to. This is Cynical Gene, right?
Cynical Gene. He's someone that I've met in real life who has come and played for Grand Theft Audio in the past and has had tracks out on Grand Theft Audio. So because we're pushed for time, I'm not going to play right from the very start.
Right, cool.
I'll cut to the meat.
So there's lots of interesting things going on your screen there.
Interesting things, yeah.
What are you looking at exactly?
So this is a SPAN, Spectrum Analyzer by Voxengo. It's a free plugin. I recommend that all producers get this plugin, all producers, all engineers, and put it on their master out. The way that I've got it set up is in mid-side stereo with an underlay on the side. So this dark green area is the mono signal. The mono signal is where the left speaker and the right speaker are playing the same thing. And then this sort of yellowy green, or if it's too wide, if it's too wide, then it goes red. But if it's not too wide, then it's yellowy green. That is the side signal, and that's where the left speaker and the right speaker are playing different things.
Right.
And for it to be interesting, you need there to be lots of sides in the top, but because bass speakers are monodirectional, you want there to be no width in the sub. So when it drops, you want this to be a big dark green peak here for the lowest one, or maybe even two peaks.
Okay.
And that's what we're looking at here. And then this is just a loudness meter. Drum and bass, depending on the kind of drum and bass, is typically between about -2.5 for the really loud jump up and neuro stuff, down to about -7 or 8 for sort of more chilled liquid and jungle, and then everything else in between.
I love that.
Luffs.
I still don't know. I just was waiting to have a little chance to do a silly little pun then. I love your description. Okay, cool. So what are we looking at here then? A cynical genie's kind of coming in the middle there somewhere?
We won't know until it drops. This is still
Okay.
just the intro. But when it drops, we'll see. One thing I'd say, hey, Rival Technique, big up Nathan in the chat.
Yeah.
I would say
Big up a few people there. Big up Nathan, big up Bitwise, big up Replete, big up Sonnet, big up Chazwav.
yeah. Let's have a
So
look.
let's get down to it. Yes, cheers. Ooh. Yes, Soul Crew. Hey, go on. D Pro. I'm feeling that. This is moody. I like the kind of little disparate guitar twangs. We should get another one now. Ooh, something a bit different. Okay, this is a creeper. This is wicked. This is really good. This has put me in a good mood.
So there are lots of great things about this track. I'll start with all the positive. So at the top, you want to see the side signal hugging the mono signal, which it does. And then it maybe tails off a little bit too early. I'd like to see a little bit more side information between 200 and 2000. It should maybe hug it a bit tighter till about 300 and then start dropping off and disappear by 100. But it's great that there's the big green peak, like what we were saying we wanted. It's a little bit of what I would call a smiley face in the sense that it does that big smile. It just means that he could push the mids a little bit more. And yeah, the tops are perfectly balanced with the sub. The sub's exactly where we want to see it, between the 24 and the 30. That's exactly where I always aim my sub for, and he's got it bang on. It's to the pixel, perfect sub. And then this is exactly where we want the 8 to 10k peak to be, at about just above -30. So that's great. He just needs to push the mids a little bit more. And also, this sub, while it is good, it could do with to make the tune just sound a little bit warmer, and also to play better on speakers, the kind of speakers that people listen to music on when they're not in a club, that don't replicate this very low peak. Having some upper harmonics of the sub, so having the sub also playing at +12 semitones and +19 semitones, very low in the mix, will just give it a little bit of warmth and just give it a little bit of make it sound like it's got some sub even on speakers that don't have subs. So a little
Right,
bit more
go on.
low mids in the bass, and then all these sort of really cool sounds that are in the mids, just push them up a little bit, and maybe even add a little bit more percussion that operates in this area, just so it's not quite smiley facing. And maybe, you want this peak here and this peak here, and then maybe these sort of hover around here rather than going all the way down here.
Right.
But really, really lovely vibe. And like I say, great balance between the tops and bottoms. Just, Craig, if you're
God.
watching, just push the mids a bit.
Go on, cool. Right, so that is how people get away with making kind of non-bassy tunes sound a bit bassy for the laptop massive and the little
Basically,
speaker
yeah.
massive. You're kind of replicating it, but it's an octave or two up, really. So it's this kind
Precisely.
of
And
mirroring
then
the
tricks
sub.
your ear into hearing a sub that isn't there.
Oh, wow. Okay, go on. Interesting. I'm loving the detail and the in-depthness. I wish we just went straight on Twitch and we'd be a couple of tunes ahead of where we're at. So let's see how many we can get through there as well. Easy damage, ma'am. I want to say... Oh, yeah, go on.
Yeah, sorry. Hello, Damage Man. How you doing, mate?
Damage Man, I
Different.
picked you as I've picked my 5 favorite demo drop moments on my YouTube vlogs as well. So Sonnet, you're in the chat as well, and Damage Man, you are too. It was really really hard picking a favorite from each of the ones. Not fair because I'm not here to pick favorites. I want to kind of feedback, but yeah, Damage Man, your bass supplies tune got, because I did a rewind and I got so excited over the rewind and even swore, which that shouldn't be a surprise. Right, so what we got next? Now we're going to go in the same order now. I'm scared to do
Straight off
anything.
the top, I love the name Banquet Hall. I like hearing tunes that have got like I like seeing tune names that are just very different to anything I've seen before, and I think Banquet Hall's just a sick name for a tune. It's unique.
Yeah, let's have a feast. So here we go.
Yeah,
This is high
let's
tech.
join
This
the
is here.
Vikings in the long haul. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Okay, that's my type of vibe. Yeah. That's got swagger. That's got real swagger.
Yeah, that's nice. That's
Mm.
got a lot more side information running through the mids. This is kind of roughly what I was asking Craig to aim for.
Right.
He can go a little bit higher still with this width. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get a Fab Filter Pro Q3, but any
Wow. Are
EQ
you
or
actually kind of you're going to do some live EQing now? This is getting
a
super super detailed, man. This
little
is
bit of
brilliant.
live EQing. So
Wow.
you can push up the sides a little bit. Want to push up the sides here. We're going to push down the sides from about, doesn't quite need so much here. So we're just going to push down the sides a little bit as well. Oops. And then I think just in general, we need a bit more going on at 8K. And that's going to offset this massive, beautiful sub. The mids are great. They're not sort of drooping. They're up there with the highs and the lows, which is fantastic. But I'm just gonna
You're really Bob Ross in this, like these beautiful subs. I like this because, so I mean, production for you then
pushing this up about.
is a mathematical.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
About maths, it's about shapes. So we're gonna play this again, and just hear the just sound a little. And it just sounds a little bit more professional, a little bit more balanced. Like I was saying, if the sub's between 24 and 30, then the sort of 8K, 10K peak, we want to be hitting about minus 30, just a couple of dBs below. And now that it does, it sounds a lot more in your face, a lot more interesting, less sort of muffled, less like you're sort of listening the other side of a wall.
Yeah, that's got much more bite to it, hasn't it?
And literally, that is all you need to finish off this tune. Just a little bit more sides, and then that boost there. Obviously, it'll sound better when you do it. You know, on the left hand side of the mastering chain rather than post the mastering chain like I'm doing. So if you do this pre-mastering chain, it will sound really good. So best of luck with that one. That's a fucking great tune. Can I swear, Dave? I say something's a fucking great tune. I thought he might be Armenian because that's Armene tune. Huh. This one's a pre-master, so what I'm gonna do is just so that it doesn't lag behind the others, I'm just gonna quickly master it. Um, it's just going through a automatic mastering chain, just to get it up to the same volume as the others. So it's just a K clip, boosting it 4 dB, and then it's just a limiter. High attack, low release, low look ahead, and true peak limiting off. And then because otherwise we're not comparing like with like, if you've got two tracks that are coming in at like -4 LUFS, if I turn this off, you'll see this is really very quiet. It's just not going to be nice for everyone to listen to. It's about -15. Yeah, it's a pre-master, so just for everyone listening, and also to sort of compare it, I have mastered it. So still no sound from Dave.
Oh, do you know what that is? There we go. There, you now you can hear me. I had that on mute. I had it on mute because my computer is making crazy noises. So
Ah.
yeah, no, I did. I had it on mute for a little while. Oh well, there we go. Continue.
I've got to say, this kind of music isn't my field of expertise. One thing that I would say is that all forms of music benefit from being somewhat balanced, and having something at every frequency. This is kind of missing a few frequencies, and um, what that normally means is that it's missing elements, but I'm not familiar enough with this style of music to make a confident suggestion about what those elements could be to fill those spaces. There's literally nothing here.
Right. Do you think we will find frequencies filling that as the track progresses, or even by looking at the waveform, can you
Doesn't look
see?
like it.
That's interesting. Oh, and this is a really, really nice vibe.
Oh, there's something. It is a nice vibe. Feels like yeah, it's really interesting. I don't dislike the tune at all. It's very unbalanced in the sense that it's all low end, and there's nothing in the high mids and nothing in the tops. Even that, when that comes in, that that little hat, it's still very very quiet and timid compared to the sub. Um, One
That's
thing I did
interesting.
want
He's got in touch and he's talked about with the submission, the EP is focusing on field recordings and video recordings.
to.
It's a tune kind of a house stroke IDM. It's very, very kind of Boards of Canada,
Yeah,
kind of
I like the
Soma
sound of
and
it.
stuff like that. Like really kind of beautiful washing sounds. I mean, without knowing any of the kind of technical specifics, I think if I was going to feedback on it vibe wise, yeah, again, this would be something I would definitely kind of play. If I was on a house tip, if I was warming up and things like that. It's really interesting to hear people's perspectives when you are literally looking at the music here, aren't you? Not just listening to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of leading with the eyes.
The other thing as well is uh these, I guess they're keys, aren't they? They're almost like a Rhodes. By weight, at some points they come up and above the weight of the sub, and when that happens, they're kind of distorting. They weren't distorting in the pre-master, but since I've got it up to a quietish master, and they're starting to distort. So possibly just a little bit more care with volume fluctuations within that element will help to create help to not create, sorry, artifacts that are going to cause unwanted distortions when it comes time to master. So just there are things you can do even within FabFilter, and I swear I don't work for them. But let's say it's where here about 245. So you can do stuff like this, make dynamic, and then when it gets too big, it pulls out.
Right, so it kind of pulls it back.
Pulls it back when it gets too big. But yeah, ideally working out what's causing that in the first place rather than trying to fix it. But I mean, again, I'm not 100% sure on this kind of music. It could be that that kind of music is only mastered to minus 12 LUFS, in which case it's not a problem. It's only a problem if you're trying to get it loud enough to be released as a drum and bass record.
I was going to say to smack as hard as a drum and bass tune.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
so
really,
that was
really
Symmol.
interesting. I love the field recordings. I love Foley in tracks, and I thought that was really atmospheric and really cool. And I'm really pleased to have heard it.
Yeah, definitely. Symmol, I'm going to give you a follow if I'm not following already. Kind of hope I am, but yeah, vibes. Thank you very much. What is next? No, I'm not. So there we go. I'm following you now.
Replete and Newton, Mission Through Hell. Replete is a good friend of mine and an awesome producer, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
One thing I will do is not master it again. Turn off the mastering chain.
Yeah. I mean, I think Replete is one of the only people who've been on every single show so far. So he's been on every single show Replete has, I think. Maybe there was one time there hasn't been, I can't remember.
Nice.
This is sounding fat.
You were chosen for a glorious mission to hell.
Wow. Yeah. Blimey, the whole chat is kicking right off. Wow. I gotta say, this is definitely my favourite Replete tune that we've had so far. Have a word.
This is really cool.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed is just there's an absolute shitload of stuff going on in the high mids, and that just stops the sort of 8K from being as pronounced. If you push up a little on 8K and pull down either side, the whole thing's just going to sound a little bit more open, Johnny.
Chosen for a glorious mission to hell.
It just yeah, this tune is absolutely fucking nuts. This is really cool. I really like it. especially in the intro. I would say that was where I was really noticing. If I turn this off, you'll see it just really loads of stuff going on in the 1 to sort of 6K range that just a bit overpowering, and it just sound a bit cleaner just to back that off a little That's it. That's all I can say about that is yeah, just a little bit too much going on in the mids. But I mean, it's a fucking good tune. It's just really good. One of the best ones I've heard from you, John.
Wow, go on. And you've released music by him before. I mean, is this something that you would sign? Because now, like, kind of having One More Thing as a label as well, there's this kind of impulse, and you must get this whenever you hear new stuff like that, kind of wanting this, like, yeah, I want that, I want to put that out, but also thinking, fuck, I got a release schedule and a million other things that I said I commit to as well. But that, I mean, I would be interested if you weren't interested. Let's have some type of signing war.
I would be more than happy for you to sign that over us, just because we've got so many tunes by Replete already that we're sat on, and I couldn't guarantee we could release this in the next 6 months.
Right.
It deserves to be unleashed, not released, unleashed.
Unleashed with some type of like tidied up, cleaned up VIP of Shoe Lady, because I will never not look at the name Replete or just the name Johnny on Facebook and not think of Shoe Lady. And I kind of picture like the pigeon lady out of Home Alone 2. You don't watch any films. You must have seen Home Alone 2 though.
I've seen Home Alone 2, of course.
Few.
Yeah.
I kind of imagine the pigeon lady, maybe a younger, kind of more upwardly mobile woman. But I don't know if you've heard Shoe Lady.
I have heard Shoe Lady. I thought it was nuts.
Okay, brilliant. Right, this is live A&R musical side. I mean, what are we on? Like our fourth tune, our third tune? We are quite tight.
Moving on to our fifth.
Okay, cool.
Chazwav.
Hey, right, he is in the chat. Chazwav is known, he's a regular on the show, so this is great. I'm just having a little look at the order, because yeah, Soul Crew is in the chat as well, so we've got Sonnet, Soul Crew.
1-1 mastering, that's Nerve, right?
Yeah, that's Raph. Yeah. He does my mastering as well.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Of course, he's a rival of yours, because you do mastering as well, don't you?
I do mastering. He does a subscription model, which I have no idea how he makes enough money to live off of. It's crazy. You pay like a certain amount, don't you? And he'll master unlimited tunes for you. So
yeah, massively. I mean, he's got another job and things like that. But I'm not too sure how he does it. But
I suspect he's got Bernard's watch. Do you remember Bernard's watch? Am I showing my age here, Dave?
Oh,
stop time with the watch.
Wow. No, I didn't. I'm unaware of Bernard's watch. That must have been a kid. Was it a kid show?
In the chat, if you guys have heard of Bernard's watch, then you let me know now. You remember this from our childhood.
We the same age?
I'm 38.
Oh no, I'm quite a bit older. So this might have been a show. Oh, there we go. Dan Soul Crew.
Right, so let's move on to...
I wouldn't put it past Raph to have some type of time-stopping watch, but yeah, let's listen to Chazwav now.
Let's listen to Chazwav.
lots of love going out to Bernard there, really. I feel like I missed out. This is creepy.
This is really cool. So yeah, Bernard used to, like, he had this watch, right? He was I don't know, like 12 or something. He had this watch and he could stop time, and then when he pressed it again, it would like go back to normal. And instead of using it for what anybody in their right mind would use it for, to like take money or see women's boobs or whatever, you're 12, right? He used to use it for the most inane shit, like being able to get his homework done on time because he'd fallen asleep, or like help his granddad win a darts tournament, you know.
The important stuff. The important.
You used to be shouting at your telly, "Come on, Bernard!"
Go on, Bernard. Go and steal some Mars bars from the local shop.
I'm gonna sound like a broken clock here because I fucking love 8K, and whenever I can, I will try and replace some stuff that's above 8K for some stuff below it. This is no reflection on RAF at all, because um, it's personal taste, and B, the client may have asked him to, keep it the same. But I'm just going to show what it looks like if just a bit more here. So this that I'm taking down is just this sound, right? So if I isolate it, it's that sort of scratchy, right? It's almost like
Right.
eating
Okay.
popping candy. That frequency that's in your head when you're eating popping candy, like really
Right.
up high.
Okay.
Replacing that for this sort of more a sort of cleaner kind of sound. And then probably push up the mids a little bit as well, potentially just a bit. A bit more thickness in the middle. But that is absolutely my personal preference, and it's not wrong the other way at all. But yeah, I just feel like that opens it up a little bit and gives it a bit more beef and a bit more warmth.
Right.
This is great in terms of the sides. It's kind of hugging it here, and then it disappears to just give that nice big green peak for the first couple. You got the sub here, and then you've got a. I was saying about having a what's the fucking word now? I do know what I'm talking about, I promise.
Yeah.
Having a I've forgotten the word.
Someone's been watching too much Bernard's clock.
I wish I could use Bernard's watch to
Bernard's
harmonic.
watch.
That's the fucking word. I said it earlier. Harmonic. Thank you, OMP. You've saved me from. Yeah, so it's like a harmonic of the sub, and that just gives like a really nice, warm kind of sound. If I play that on its own, you'll kind of hear it's really nice. So it's about here. Really nice that. Just in there, in that area. So yeah, fucking great tune. Again, these have all been really solid tunes. I've been very impressed by the quality, and this is no different. So well done, Chazwav.
Go on, Chazwav. Brilliant. Yeah, we do. We seem to have a really. So not in my studio, so I can't even hear that note. So big up the laptop speakers. Yeah, like the level of quality since the very first episode has been wild, really. Like so much of it is all like, oh, I want to play that, I'm going to keep that on the USB. Right, okay, so we got Sonnet next, I believe. Very much a kind of yeah, a mascot of this show, I would say, really. Hey! Was not expecting this. Yeah.
Let me go, no you never come back. I'ma be the best that you never know. I'ma kick back when you...
Yeah, go on, Sonnet. I'm literally enjoying everything that Sonnet is sending. He actually kind of came from more of a kind of house era. Has done a lot of houseier stuff in the past many years ago, and stuff. So I think that's tapping into a slightly older sound there. But yeah, lots of love for this in the chat. So what are you feeling on this, James?
I think the vibe is absolutely stellar. I feel like the low mids are eclipsing both the sub and the highs. I'd say he could go much more aggressively on the highs to balance out the lows, something like this, and then replacing some of this. Sorry, getting rid of, because there are some very low notes. Just making sure there's nothing below 25 to give himself a bit more headroom, and then he wants to sort of push up around here, pull down around here, and we'll see how that sounds. And then with the sides, there's a bit of room to push certain elements out to the side. The side information is, each one of these is 6 dB lower. So when it's like 2 boxes lower, it means it's 10 dB quieter. And we're aiming for about 3 dB quieter, really. So there's a lot of space for him to push elements out to the side using a good widener like the Isotope Imager could be really good. And it's free from Isotope. It's the only imager I use for everything, and it's just fucking awesome. Putting that on certain elements. But yeah, really, really good. So yeah, just a couple of balance issues, a couple of side issues, but in terms of the composition, that's really, really good. Really good. It's got that old school flavor, but it feels really current, and that's hard to do, and he's done it very well.
Brilliant. There we go. That's awesome feedback. So yeah, Sonnet has got a release coming out on One More Thing next year.
Oh, has he?
Yeah. And it's come about through these demo drop sessions. But yeah, we're in talks. We're developing something really, really cool. It's great to hear you say that and great to see that feedback and great to hear Sonnet working on another genre as well. So yeah, this is excellent. Really, really cool. And absolutely love that vibe as well. Brilliant. Let's see how many more we can get through before I've got to go for my tea. I mean, I was going to go at 8:30. I'll push it another 10 minutes or so.
I think we'll be able to get through all of them if we finish at 1:45.
Okay, go on. Cool. Right, so we got
to leave one or leave two.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So
I'm
what?
confused by this name. It says hologram mustard, but it's not mustard. So my guess is that hologram mastered it, and then perhaps they got confused and sent the pre-master.
Okay, so is this the Poison Ivy track or something? I mean, I think like Dan Soul Crew is in the chat or was. So if you're still around,
This doesn't look mastered. So what I'm just gonna run it through my mastering chain just quickly to. Oh, Hologram mixed it. So Hologram's mixed it. It's not mastered yet. Wicked. And the hologram, by hologram you mean detune, is that right? Detune, Degs, and Citrus Fly. So
do they mix things as well? Yeah, go on, cool,
I didn't
right?
realise that.
That's a nice little connection.
Is wrapped in poison ivy. You can't feel, I can't deal. I won't let you beside me. You beside me. You beside me. You beside me. You. You can't get in my heart. Is wrapped in poison ivy. You can't feel, I can't deal. I won't let you beside me.
Listen, yeah, eyes wide shut. Do you know this pain? Hey, streets dried up, man robbing.
Ooh.
Kids go hungry, like who's to blame? These corporate governments get rich again. I'm like, fuck this shit, but I'ma break the pain. Through the glass masked up with a gang to sling. Got the public on my back, bro, I got the frame. While we work and we slave, go against the grain. Like 365 till we die insane. We've all had enough, now it's time for change. But now I wanna get violent, now I wanna get rowdy. Got the whole plan, bro, all I need is the army. Nobody can harm me, why the fuck did you start me? Now I'm acting all arsey, ain't nobody can calm me. I see the vision for it all, see the vision through the wall. I'm the vision to the fool. Yeah, you know.
You can't get in my heart. Is wrapped in poison ivy.
I really love how underproduced the drums are here, almost like a sort of near archives kind of very low-key drums when they
make all of the space for the vocals then. Yeah.
for the vocals, and then it comes back in again. It's incredibly well mixed.
I actually wanted to hear my first bit of feedback was that the drums were a little too thin on that first bit. When it kind of kicked in, it felt like it needed more of a smack, but it's made space for all of the vocals. So yeah, where you've got that line there, those kind of beats when they kicked in kind of felt a little bit light for me, in terms of I don't know where that would kind of hit on the dance floor or something. I don't know. But so it's interesting to hear what you're saying there. But I think when the vocals are in, the drums almost need to be that kind of thin, really, don't they?
Yeah. I didn't think it felt thin at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, the got a good hit of 200 and it's in A, that snare. It's hitting at 220 hertz, which is really nice, sort of hefty snare. I know perhaps that peak could at 220 could come up a dB or something. I'd imagine that when it gets mastered, there'll be a little bit more fine tuning. The sub is exactly where we said we like to see it, between 30 and 24, like again almost to the pixel. This is a little flat for my personal taste. I'd push the 8K as everyone knows, push the 8K, couple of dB, bits either side of 8K, bring down just a tiny bit, just makes it feel a little bit more open. But it's a personal taste thing. I think that this is incredibly well mixed. I think that the for me personally, I think this is the most professional sounding track. I could imagine this on UKF. Do you know what I mean? Getting a premiere.
Right. Okay. Wow. Go on. That's that's mighty strong feedback there. That's brilliant. Another thing that stood out to me was the lyrical content and the message there as well. Like, you know, this feels like a proper kind of song. And I know from the previous submission that Soul Crew sent over with Genesis Elijah, again, you know, they're coming from a hip hop background, if I recall correctly. and are, you know, kind of that's the area that they're really kind of exploring, is that kind of vocal. Right, so Dread MC is on the second verse. Yeah. So.
Run it up proper, hotter than ever. Pressure like fever. Operator for the structure. Run up the style and the flavor.
Go on.
Bullet train, no delay. Sour face, squeeze out the lime. Interruption when you flow, when you rhyme. Tell me from the stars, tell me it's a sign. No retreat, no surrender.
Almost seems a shame to pause it there, but we do have some more to get through. Dread sounds sick on it. We just made a tune with Dread that came out a couple of weeks ago. He's a really, really lovely guy, just so down to earth. Such a great dude, and he sounds great on that. And it's interesting you mentioned Genesis Elijah as well. I can't say which label, but it's been on our label bucket list since the start. It's just taken a track by ourselves and Genesis Elijah and a singer called Idna, which is exciting.
Wow, cool. I mean, that could be anywhere. Like the last time on Genesis Elijah is coming up on Metalheads with a London Electricity track soon. So you know, they could be that it could be anywhere.
I will tell you when we stop streaming.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Nice bit of cliffhangeriness. Right. Okay. Where are we? How many have we got left now? We've got Filthy Philp, who I have to apologise because
Filthy Philip by mistake.
I did. On the first time he sent something, he sent in 2 tracks. Now this is his 3rd track, and I was going through all of the demo drops trying to find my favourites, and it was a very, very close call because of how damn funky his first track was. But yeah, I'm just like Filthy Philip all over it. Like, he's not said anything on email or on Instagram. He must get it all of the time, but I'm really sorry.
Get it all the time.
Filthy Philp.
People call us Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I must have said it. Yeah.
You walking close and I'm leaning in. You know what you want tonight. No need for words, your touch is all I need to get what you want tonight. You know you're coming on strong.
Ooh.
Going out my mind. I think I'm losing control. Think I'm losing control. You know you're coming on strong. Every touch you pull me deep. Tell me I taste so sweet. Tell me I taste so sweet. You know you're coming on strong.
Well, Philp has got the funk massively, like.
Sub is too loud by about 6 dB. That's quite a large
6
amount
dB.
that it's too high by.
I did notice that. It was weird because I noticed that and I was thinking that's not to the pixel. Oh.
If we play this again, then it'll be a little less overpowering.
I'm gonna say I'm getting strong Colette Warren vibes on this vocal.
Think I'm losing control. You know you're coming on strong. Every touch you
I want to hear more of that sub.
taste so sweet. Tell me I taste.
Oh, I noticed that difference, definitely.
You know you're coming on strong.
Yeah. It's live mastering. This is stop being the demo drop and it's live mastering now with James from Sola. This is brilliant. You are like, I can hear the sound, the different sounds.
Your eyes meet mine, send shivers down my spine. I'm under your spell tonight.
There we are. So that's just a little bit more balanced. You know, you got the tops up here now in -30. You got the sub about -27, and that just sounds a lot more clean. In terms of the vocal, I think the vocal needs to be processed a little bit better. It's a bit muddy. get someone who is skilled at vocal processing just to make sure that all the EQ, the compression, the de-essing, the limiting, just every single thing about it is just spot on. The standard of vocal processing is so high scene wide that it's quite it can stick out a little bit like a sore thumb if the vocal's a little bit muddy. But just yeah,
Right.
get someone to sort that. In terms of width, you can be a lot more daring, push the width out a lot more. I'm seeing a lot of dark green, and that's just wasted real estate in the sides that you could be having interesting things going on, either widening certain elements or just creating elements that are more panned one way or the other. Anything from breaks to musical information, but it's a really fucking good tune. I love her vocals. I love the track.
That kind of smoky jazziness of it all, really. Yeah, the vocal reminded me of Colette Warren. Actually, when it first came in, the phrasing reminded me of Olive, You're Not Alone, which is like one of my all-time favourite kind of dance tracks there.
You're not alone.
Yeah. But that kind of like the question and answer. So the phrasing at first instantly made me think of that vocal, which takes me back to my earliest days of clubbing, really. Is like that was a game-changing tune for me. There's nothing, I've heard nothing bad from Philp so far during the demo drops. That's how I've become aware of him. Philp, I know you watched this the morning after because you're in Thailand. I want a mix from you. I'm going to say this now. I'm going to invite you, come and do a mix on the One More Mix series. Let's do an interview. I'm really interested in your sound. Everything that you sent through is great. And I know that he was particularly excited to get this over because you were doing the feedback as well. He was really excited to hear what you would say about it.
I got to hang out with him when we did our Australia tour. Got to hang out with him in Neck Island. We went and saw koala bears together.
Oh, go on. Nothing bonds strangers more than koala bears. Like, you're friends for life there.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. How many more have we got left now?
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play it, and then after a few seconds I'm gonna turn off this EQ, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So
You want tonight, you know you're coming on strong. Got me going out my mind. I think I'm losing control.
Oh wow, yeah, you can definitely tell a difference there.
it sounds like you're just sort of coming down the stairs in the club, and you can't hear the highs, but you can hear all the sort of lows. As you're entering the club. So yeah, just a bit more EQ stuff, a little bit more polish on the vocal, and that would be fucking good to go because it's a great tune. These have all been amazing tunes.
Yeah.
And big up Liam if you're watching this.
I'm sure he will be. And yeah, I want a mix and an interview from you, man. Right, well, we've got 3 tunes left now. Yeah, this guy's from Italy. It's really hard for me to bring up, so I've not been bringing up the SoundClouds and stuff because whenever I go through onto my browser, the sound lags a little bit and it all cuts up. And I think that is then felt on the stream side of things because it's coming through my OBS. So I'm not kind of putting over the SoundCloud accounts and stuff like that. And
what we can do, we could leave them on the screen. I don't know if people will be able to see it, especially if they're on their
they'll be on the YouTube upload and stuff. But I can now because we're just talking this. When we're talking, it's absolutely fine. So there we go. I can send this over there, and I will also put in Philp's as well.
There we are. So here's everyone's SoundClouds. Feel free to pause it so that you can take a screenshot and check all these people out because they all need our support.
Yeah, massively. And it's amazing that people are sending in stuff. I'll put Philp's in as well. Actually, crack on. So I'm intrigued by this track because of the title, All Kind of Shit.
All Kind of Shit, and this is by N Comfortable. Let's have a little listen. I'm going to turn off my mastering check because this looks quite loud.
Randy Sales comes.
Now I can hear that this needs more work. Oh. And just in terms of its kind of punch.
The mastering chain a little bit. I've turned up the mastering chain today.
Yeah.
And it's made a huge difference. It's just, it was just a little bit quiet. It didn't look like it because it's quite spiky, but actually when you zoom in, a lot of the sounds are quite far away from the minimum and maximum. So yeah, it's responding really well to being clipped and limited. As soon as I've done that, it just sounds so much.
Yeah, you can really feel that. It's just crisper.
It needs a bit of EQ, pushing up the tops a bit.
Really nice, spiteful sound on it, though. I'm liking that.
Really nice, spiteful sound, absolutely. It could use a little bit more width around here between 300 and 1500. It could do with some width. This is all very mono. It's also very dry. What I mean by that is it doesn't have any kind of tail really. The bass doesn't have a tail, and the drums. Some of the drums have a tail, some of them don't. Just a little bit of obviously you wouldn't use the same reverb on everything. You would use like a bit of reverb, so a different reverb for the for different drums.
Right.
Obviously, I only have it as one thing. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of reverb on, and you'll hear. So I'm just going to. I'm going to turn it right down and just feed it until we can barely hear it, and it'll just sound a lot less dry.
Wow. The difference that you've given it.
That's a very broad brush, but yeah, add a little bit of reverb to your basses, add a little bit of reverb to your drums. You'd use slightly longer for the basses, slightly shorter for the drums. So I've just kind of stuck it in the middle, and it's just sort of showing how it will sound a little bit more professional and a little bit less dry once you've done that. But that's a really cool track. It reminds me of almost like Bar 9 kind of sound, like early Bar 9, that dun 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 dun.
Yeah, definitely.
Really cool. So
yeah,
great stuff.
Cool. So I think we got two more, haven't we? Because the last one was a bootleg. So I think we'll pass on the bootleg. So we got two more. What have we got? We've got. All right, they're both really interesting. Okay, right. So both
Planet Surface.
Right now, Volcom, who I don't think is in the chat, but has been on the last couple of ones. He came up and we've been on his radar because he's a jazz musician who's just started to explore drum and bass. And I will before we start getting into actually playing the music, and I start to make you go all croaky, and I compromise the actual stream of the music. Let me just quickly look up his email. Volcom, because there was a little bit of a kind of story on both of these last ones. There's a little bit of kind of context which intrigued me. Right, okay, so no, this is just he's just right, okay, so he's just got a couple of tracks on Spotify and he's a jazz musician. So this is Vocom now. I'm really intrigued because every time he's popped up I'm like, yo, send some music. So he did. Let's go.
I'll turn off the master.
You might have lost me.
Sorry.
This is interesting. You can tell he comes from jazz.
I really love all the jazzy parts. They're really cool. They need to be louder and more prominent. They drive the tune along. They form the narrative, and so you need those front and center. They're all kind of very MIDI stuff. By MIDI, I don't mean MIDI, MIDI like a MIDI keyboard. I mean MIDI as in all the
Mid-range, like
mid-range, yeah. So having quieter versions pitched up an octave, just to sort of give it a bit of shine up here, and also maybe having some elements like a piano that's up 2 octaves and sort of, playing in like a trill here and there, just rather than every musical element all being in this same narrow section. If things can be pushed to the top. So at the moment, you've got the drums here and nothing else. It just sort of spreads the musicality up throughout the entire track, rather than just the mids. One thing that I will say is you've kind of got this a little bit backwards in the sense that your tops up here, this peak is mono, and this peak is very wide, but actually because subs are monodirectional, this should be a big green peak. This should be mono, and this should have elements spread. So yeah, you've got a big mono element here. I think it's the hat or the break that contains the sort of hat and the crash.
right.
So
I think the chat box might have been. Let me move that over. I think that might have been over your cursor there, because you're on the right hand side of that. But right, okay, there we go. Cool.
Oh, I see. Was the chat box in the way?
Yeah. Only a tiny bit. I just couldn't see your arrow, so I wasn't too sure if
Okay.
you'd be able to.
So what you want to do with your sub is just completely remove all of the sides from it, like this. And then the elements that are in the top, there's a couple of ways to make them wider. One is to use something like an ozone imager, which you can get for free from the Isotope website. Isotope is spelled like this, Izotope. And the other way is literally you have some elements that you pan a bit to the left and some elements that you pan a bit to the right. I think with the sort of free-form jazz background that you have, I think that you will probably find it very interesting to play with certain musical elements suddenly hitting on a left and then something else bouncing off it and on a right, So
I like that idea. That's cool.
sax bit happening here and then followed up with a response from like a piano or something, with your background. I think that you'll be able to have a lot of fun doing that, and then you don't have everything just barreling up the center in the tops. It sounds nice and wide and fun. But I would imagine, just from hearing this, that if we heard him in a year's time, he would sound absolutely fantastic. It just needs to keep at it. It is tough when you first start out to get things. You have all this stuff in your head, and it's so tough to get that into the door and sounding exactly how you how you want it to sound, but just keep going at it because you've got some really great ideas, and the more you practice, the more professional you'll sound.
Yeah, that's great. And it's true with any kind of creative process. It's like I get that with a lot of articles. Even now, the article in my head is nowhere as close. Well, the article in my head is way better than anything that I ever write or submit to a magazine. So on to the last one. And I do want to bring up the his email because, again, there was I want to make sure that I'm telling the context correctly. So, right, this is from Tonto, who is someone who's a regular on Twitch and is part of Gooda's community and has come through from Gooda. We're missing Gooda today. I hope he's well.
I'm missing Gooda.
Yeah. Right.
I'm
so
always
this.
missing Gooda.
Yeah. Just in all walks of life at all times, really.
Did I tell you the first time we went on his stream, someone asked if I was his younger brother,
Oh wow.
even though I'm about 10 years older than him, and I've never let him live it down. I always call him Big Bro on his streams.
Go on. Yeah, you are about 10 years older than him. Brilliant. Right. So this person now,
The piano was
Tonto.
sick on. You're right, Bitwise Maths. The piano was sick.
Yeah, Bitty knows the score when it comes to piano, don't you, Bitty?
Tonto should do a track called The Lone Raver.
Well, he's called one actually. Like, so all joking aside, this is called unnumbness, and it's about learning to cope with discomfort without substance. The road to sobriety and truly understanding mental health. It's something that's important to me, so getting it locked in is really my goal. I feel it needs more vocals and a solid stereo layer, but I'm no layman, basically. This is my first finished tune. So it's his first ever finished tune.
Wow.
So there's a bit of context and obviously come from a place of a lot of development and personal progress and stuff there. So huge shouts to Tonto there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of people in the scene at the moment who are either taking a long break from substances or have knocked it on the head. Everyone from the Cliques to Mosey to obviously Mark, Chisholm, your protege. I'm 10 and a half months into my alcohol-free year.
Go on. Well done, man. That's brilliant.
So 6 weeks and then I can drink again.
Brilliant. Do you want to go back and drink though? Because a lot of people, when they get to that stage, their relationship has changed with.
I think what I'm
booze
going
and
to
stuff.
do is, even though it feels like potentially it's falling at the last hurdle, I think what I'm going to do is is finish a week early and have Christmas and New Year drinking with family, and then start next year by having another 2 or 3 months off it, just to because I'm really happy with how I'm hitting my fitness goals. And I think beer is not particularly good for fitness.
No, it's not. It's not.
Hold tight, Tonto, for making this tune about something that so many of us go through, either taking a break or having to knock it on the head, because it can do more harm than good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that phrase, learning to cope with discomfort without substance, because I think most of us all turn to these things because we feel uncomfortable in one way or another. And it's a social lubricant in that way. It makes you block out certain things or certain thoughts which stop you from feeling so awkward in a certain circumstances. Certainly the fundamental cause of a lot of reasons why I have relationships with those type of things, really. So that actual phrasing, and he's a writer. He writes for Best Drum and Bass as well, which I think is the actual contact that I've put. Yeah. So
Hold tight, Dorian.
Yeah, man, I was literally about to say. Cool. All right then. So let's have a listen to this.
Can I just say, just because I do like it when a track does something that I suggested on the previous track. If you look at where the musical information is, it's shared all across this spectrum, and it just gives that really nice full sound, like an orchestra. It's got stuff at the bottom, stuff in the middle, stuff at the top, and then you get this sort of wall of musicality. It just sounds lovely. Just because I was suggesting on the last track that they put some more stuff up the top, which this person has done. There's a lot to like about this. One thing that instantly stands out as being incredibly jarring before I go into the what's great about it, and there is a lot that's great about it. The snare is A, the wrong snare, and B, it's panned to the right. And while a snare can be wide, it needs to be central. Um, and it's very weird. It almost feels maybe it is a mistake, or maybe he's trying to be experimental, but it's just it's a bit odd, and I think other people would think that as well. But it's really well balanced. If I just turn it up a little bit, then I think everything will be at the levels that we've been talking about today when we've been saying about where we want things to be. I'm just going to turn it up very slightly, and I think we'll see that it's pretty damn good in terms of balance, which is incredible considering that this is his first track. There we are. So the sub's here. And here you've just got like all of your highs are dead flat. So just making sure that you have a peak. And Dave will know by now that peak is at 8K.
Yes, yeah. You love your 8K. Okay, well, you can really feel the difference there. It pops like.
Then we're going to pull down the low mid slightly. We're going to replace them with just a little bit more of the highs in general, not just the 8K. Is missing is a bass line, so it doesn't have any bass line at all, doesn't even have any sort of bass licks. It's just a plain sub. It could do with a bass line. I think that could make it sound a bit more full and a bit more finished,
and a vocal as well, as he said. It feels like a kind of instrumental waiting for a vocal there. Any type of vocal as well, like
even if it was like a synthetic bass guitar. So instead of it going boom, 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 we went dong 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 dong. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be like a noisier sort of horrible mutated respace when I'm talking about a bass line. It can be like a Caliber live bass guitar type, pitched down, but yeah, have a listen to Caliber tunes, have a listen to Marcus Intellect's tunes, and that's the sort of bass I'm talking about that just tops the sine wave and just gives it a little bit of, even necessarily grit. It can be grit, it can be warmth, but it's something, not just a raw sine wave on its own. But experiment and just have a think about what that will be in your tune, the mid bass.
Yeah, and I think that for me, the bass line that I was kind of thinking feels like kind of almost like on the fill, so just like two little notes like boop boop, and like on the root notes of where that melody is, and just like, so it's not even like the sound of a guitar, just the kind of, yeah, just like two little kind of notes punctuating the end of every fill could do something like that as well. But I think, yeah, like it feels there, it's like it's almost like a kind of a little bit of a shell waiting, or well, no, it's not a shell, yeah, it's just waiting for a little bit more to kind of fill it up there.
Waiting for a vocal, and it's waiting for a bass line, and then it would be fantastic. And yeah, just a little bit, just, I mean, that's not a lot of EQ, but yeah, it might change once you've got those other elements in, so don't take that as gospel. But yeah, really good. I've been very impressed, Dave, with the quality of the submissions today, I've got to tell you.
It's wicked. I take that as a compliment as well, because these are the people who are following One More Thing and getting involved and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you very much, because a lot of the contributors are all in the chat and stuff like that. So thank you to everybody who's kind of got involved. I was patient with us at the start of it as well, with the slight issues of not being able to get onto YouTube and all the rest of it. What I've done is I've put the link to the Grand Theft Audio EP, a One More Thing EP, that we put out 2 weeks ago today, I think it was, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah, Halloween.
Yeah. It was 2 weeks ago today.
Hallows Eve.
So that was it. It's that's out there. The link is there. Please support it if you can, and please support everything that Sola does and Grand Theft Audio, and obviously One More Thing. Thank you to everybody who's got involved. Yeah, it's been really, really cool. I've seen a different side to you. I mean, I know that you've done these type of streams. A lot of people would have seen you do this before. I've not actually seen you kind of go in. I've not seen James. Like, I chat to you a lot. We collaborate. We've done releases together. I've not seen you in technical mode before, and I think I've learned a lot of stuff. There's a part of me which doesn't like that, because you're looking at the music, so you're kind of, it's no longer magic anymore when it's like that, because you are filling certain areas. But I work with people who, you know, like Noisy have their own spectrum analyzer and stuff like that, and
I've talked about spectrum analyzer,
right,
but it's a bit less easy to. You have to get used to it, whereas Span's very easy for someone who's never seen Span before to work out what's going on.
Yeah.
Whereas the noisier one is more of an expert level spectrum analyzer.
Right. But yeah, I mean, even like after the third or fourth track, you know, I was seeing where the sub was hitting and stuff like that. So I was learning those. But yeah, it does. There's a part of me which is just like, is this what it's come down to? Making sure that things are all in the right space. But that's the final touch. You still need the magic to make the vibes and to make the grooves and stuff like that.
The composition, the engineering, there's no magic to it. It's just maths. That's
the seasoning, really, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the seasoning. That's just sort of making sure there's enough yeast to make the bread rise properly.
Yay, nice. Speaking of that, I'm going to go down for my tea now. Thank you so much, James. Thank you, everybody in the chat, and thank you to everybody who submitted tunes to us. That's been brilliant, and we've managed to cover all of the original tunes that were sent to us as well, so that's absolutely awesome. So yeah, thank you, everybody. Big up, and yeah, we will see you in 2 weeks' time. So we'll be back at the end of November, and yeah, please get behind all of the cool stuff that Sola and Grand Theft Audio do, and the stuff that I do as well, and my team. Nice one. Cool. Ciao.
Bye, everyone.
There we go.